this is Donald at the Cannabis Radio Network. This is the Barrett Report. And if you or someone you love ever had a question whether cannabis is medicinal, where it can be used for medical purposes, you're going to want to stay tuned for the next really 60 minutes, because we're going to be talking to somebody on the telephone, and we're going to be showing some videos that are pretty compelling. Really made me a strong believer in the medicinal benefits of this incredible this product called cannabis, which, you know, like I said, many people out there don't even understand, rather, the elderly don't even understand you don't have to get high to get the benefits that this has to offer. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that with CBD in just a little bit. But this is our Sunday night show. It's a 9 p.m. show. Next quarter, starting in July, we are going to go to 8 p.m. 8 p.m. All the shows are going to be starting at 8 p.m. My show, the Barrett Report, is going to be on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we're going to have a brand new show that many of you out there have already heard about, called the Green Nurse Show. And with me tonight, we have the founder of the Green Nurse Program and the Green Nurse Group, Sherri Tutkus. Sherri, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Donald. How are you?
All right, great. We're going to get started in just a few minutes.
Sounds good.
But I want to say hello to our sponsors, ProVerde. If you're out there and you're looking for a lab, a company to test your product, to test it for the microbiotics, to see if there's anything in that product as far as mold or any pesticides, for instance,
bacteria.
They're the go-to company out there. They're the go-to company. It's called ProVerde Labs. You call Dorian. They're right over in, I think, Milford, Massachusetts. And they have a wonderful organization. Many of the other sponsors here at the show use them because they're the go-to company right now. They are the industry's really standard, if you will, in labs. And they also work with companies to create products. So if you're out there and maybe you've always had a dream or a thought about creating a product, maybe you're an entrepreneur, you know, this is the first time in history, and it's unbelievable in our lifetimes, that cannabis is going legal. So maybe you're an entrepreneur and you want to take advantage that way. So there's a lot of different benefits. Let's get into the show. One more company I wanted to mention is Deaf Payment Systems, and I mention it because not only are they a sponsor, but they're so vitally important to many cannabis companies out there in the Massachusetts community, not only in Massachusetts, but around the country. Because many companies that are in the cannabis business, and you know this, Sherri,
yes,
are having a very difficult time processing credit cards. So if you're a dispensary, even if you have a company like the radio show had a challenge getting a processing account, and we don't grow product, we don't distribute product, we don't do anything like that here at the radio network, and we had challenges getting a merchant account because cannabis was in the name, Cannabis Radio Network. So there's companies out there that specifically work with companies that are in the cannabis industry, and Deaf Payment Systems is the go-to company right now. They're getting your money, and that's the most important thing. You want to get your money in Deaf Payment Systems, DEFT Payment Systems. It should be up on the screen. They're a great sponsor. Just give Brett a call over at Deaf Payment Systems. All right. Well, let's talk about it, Sherri. You have a new show coming out. We have a cookout coming out.
Yes,
a cookout that we're having for you at the radio show here.
Yes, I'm very grateful for that.
To launch your show. For people that are maybe just tuning in for the first time, tell me about the Green Nurse Group, or tell them about the Green Nurse Group.
So the Green Nurse Group is a nonprofit, and what we do is we work and we educate all people on cannabis, safe use medicinally. We try to reach all people. We try to bring education to the forefront. It's really important for people to understand the difference between medicinal cannabis and recreational cannabis, and it has to do with choice.
And I was reading last week in one of the journals, and there was a medical journal, that 80% of oncologists
Yes.
are now having a conversation, at least. Either the patient is asking or the oncologist brings it up, but either way, 80% are having a conversation about cannabis, about a lot of them with the benefits related to chemotherapy and radiation and
Yes.
things like that. But they don't know what to tell them or where to
send
go. I
them.
mean, many of those
Yes.
doctors, I mean, they're doctors and medical doctors because they don't know anything about cannabis.
I know, and we're
They never smoked it anyways, and it's college or whatever, and who knows? But I'm just saying, a lot of people, when they talk to their doctor, after that, the doctor takes them as far as they can see. Hey, cannabis might be a solution, and then they leave them there.
Yes.
That's where you pick up.
That's where we pick up. We bridge the gap from what people aren't getting from traditional medicine. So one of the things that we do with bridging the gap is not only with using cannabis as a tool, but other things. And we help the patients educate their doctors, because this is not going away. It's here to stay. The law's been made. It's medical is here, adult use is here. It's your obligation to learn about it. And the bottom line is, what we do is we help patients learn about it. And as patients learn about it and get better and follow a care plan, using cannabis as a tool, the doctors, what are you doing? What's going on? What's happening? So
Right,
the
but
patients
when you talk
educate.
care plans, tools, programs,
know,
you make it sound difficult. I
No,
know,
and it's
I know
easy.
it's your medical background. But,
Right.
talking
Okay, I'll make it. So we
basically,
we have we create a plan together, right? Like we become a team. So imagine we're on a team and we got to create the plan as to how we know the end result. We got to write the map to get there. And how are we going to do that?
right.
We use cannabis as one of the tools.
So if someone's out there and someone they love is sick, has pain, maybe they have cancer,
Yeah.
maybe they're going through chemotherapy or radiation, or
Yes.
maybe they've gone through it, and they're looking at cannabis as a potential solution.
Correct.
I always say, I could have never ever sat down with my mom when she was sick with lung cancer. She would have just never listened to me. But the resource now is the Green Nurse Group, where people can pick up the phone, like I could have picked up the phone and had you come and sit down with my mom
Yes.
and educate her on the benefits of cannabis,
Yes.
and explain to her that not only she doesn't have to smoke it. There's the tinctures today. They as you know, I know you know
Tinctures,
this. The edibles. There's other different ways, because
creams.
people think, oh, I'm not smoking pot. That's what my mother would say. Pot? You
Yeah.
crazy? But I'm serious. If I could call a nurse and have her bridge that gap with her
Yes.
doctor,
Yes.
because everybody knows. I mean, the benefits are coming out that it may even help with cancer, and we're not even going to get into that. But we know.
We know. I've seen it.
We know people that have benefits at reducing the side effects,
And
the
increasing
deleterious
the quality
side effects.
of life.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things I always say to patients is this: I can't make you any promises except one thing. I'm going to help improve the quality of your life. Anything else we get from that is bonus. And the bonus has happened because they're ready to take that step. They're ready to just be guided and be led, but through a shared decision model. So what is important to you, I'll say to them. What is important to you, and how do you want to feel? And through that process of connection and guiding,
Now
we
I know
get
that.
results.
And I know recently the Cannabis Radio Network has given you your own show,
Yes.
the Green Nurse Show.
Yes, and we're going to talk we're going to have all of the stories. There's patients all over the country that want to talk, and they should be heard. And they should be heard because here it is belief is outside of yourself. Conviction is your truth. You're experiencing it. And their voice needs to be heard. It's really important for people to know, because you never know when one of your loved ones might need this.
Right, that's a fact.
Yeah.
A lot of people still question whether it's medicinal, and a lot of the videos, and I'm not sure if I'm the only one that get these videos on my feed because of what I do and what my business is, but we have some videos, and I just want to, if we can cue up one. Can you go to any one that I want?
Yeah.
All right. If we can go to the one that I just saw this week, the gentleman with Parkinson's disease. If you can just take a couple minutes and watch this video, we'll be right back.
And the best way to take it is put it under your tongue and rub it in your cheek. I think you're calmed down. So quickly.
The lunch is coming back. Did you guys get lunch?
Are you hungry now?
20 a.m.
I mean, if you or a loved one had Parkinson's disease, wouldn't you want to know about CBD and cannabis? I mean, watching that video, I mean, it's unbelievable. And maybe you're saying, oh, I've seen that video, but a lot of people out there haven't seen that video. So share that video. If you see videos like that, share that video, because, you know, we're lucky here in Massachusetts to be able to have it not only medicinally but also recreationally. But we're lucky in this state where, you know, we're smart enough in this country, in this state rather, to vote it in, where we can have access to cannabis, and we should be thankful for that.
Absolutely. And we can be leaders in the industry, right? Don't we want to create a program that's appropriate? We want to reduce that stigma. And how do we do that? We show people that cannabis is medicine. It's 3 ways of using cannabis, I always say. Medically, recreationally, and irresponsibly.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, and I always say I use them all 3.
Well, of course, Donald. I wouldn't expect anything less of you.
No, but
and it's a choice. So, right, if you understand your body and how it works in your body, you can choose to use it medically or recreationally.
Right.
It's all in choice.
And now it's going recreationally legal in Massachusetts in July, and we're going to talk about that.
It already is, but the shops are opening.
All right. So the Green Nurse Group, I know it's been overwhelming. I know you need more nurses all the time. So if nurses are out there and they want more information on how they can become educated as a nurse, or potentially become a part of the, or get more information on the Green Nurse Group.
Yes.
They can just go to your website and get more information.
Yes, they
maybe
can.
Send in an email.
Yep. info@greennursegroup.com.
Right, and you're looking for nurses in the Massachusetts area.
Massachusetts holistic integrative nurses that have done hospice or home care or pediatrics, people that feel really comfortable understanding holistic health, mind, body, spirit, and how it's all connected. Because it's not just about cannabis. So we look, like I said, if any of you nurses are watching.
Right, or retired nurses.
Retired nurses. We were looking for people to really connect with all aspects of health. And it really, you know, it's the biopsychosocial, spiritual aspects of healing. And nurses, you know, the more experience you have, they have better an ability to really tap into what people need.
Right, interesting. Another video that I want to have him queue up is the one that I was talking about last week on the show, and I didn't have a chance because I didn't tell him ahead of time to queue it up. But what's interesting about this video is with animals, there's no placebo effect.
No, they don't
because
lie.
people can say, you know, these videos, anybody can show anything on any video. But
Right.
I mean, animals, there's no placebo effect.
No, absolutely not. It either works or it doesn't.
So this was a video that came across my news feed not too long ago, and I mean, this was very impressive. If you can,
Here he is having one of those things, Kev. Kind of hard for me to get this and spray in his mouth.
Yeah, I think.
But
What's his number? What number is he calling in?
Here it is.
618 or 617?
Yeah, hold on.
He should be calling from.
I'm gonna put this down for 1 second.
No, that's you. 618.
Come here. Come here.
He's not in yet. That's
There he
him
is,
right
yeah.
there.
There you go.
I just gave him 2 shots of it in his mouth. Come here, rock and roll. Come here. Come here. You okay? Hmm?
I'm watching it, so which is good.
Yeah. You good now, ain't you? You okay? You okay? Huh? He's a good boy, huh? Him is.
I need to what?
Hey, look at me. You a good boy? Wanna get a bone now? Wanna get a bone now? Hmm?
Is that unbelievable?
Unbelievable.
Dog lovers out there. I mean, animals.
They
Right.
instantly relieve suffering.
And you know, your partner Dale's animal
Yes.
lover.
Animal.
Won't go anywhere
Little
without her
Lizzie.
dogs. I saw last
Absolutely.
night.
Oh,
Brings them to restaurants. Brings them everywhere.
and they have a
strip-
healthy diet, and they
Yeah.
take their CBD,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. But our animals are valuable. I mean, they're family members, and to see the suffering. I mean, and there's probably not a drug out there that was helping that animal. I mean, how much would you pay for that? I mean, it's almost when you look at it and you think about it, it's really unbelievable that the drug companies are allowing this, because now when you look at it, the medicinal benefits of cannabis, and you look back that it's been used for 3,000 years for cannabis. I mean, it's like the Watergate papers. They came out later. I mean, the same
Yes.
thing. All this information's coming out now that we knew back then, and it was just suppressed
Squashed.
for whatever reason. And it's unbelievable. So cancer is one, and we have a gentleman calling in today. His name is Darren Steven Miller, and he is on the line. I'm going to get to him in just a second. But he had cancer, and I'm going to let him tell his story. And he believes, and he certainly does believe, that this cannabis oil has reversed his cancer. Now, I've seen many people out there that it's reduced the risk, reduced side effects related to chemotherapy and radiation, where they can eat better and whatnot. I've seen the seizures. I've seen that. But I've heard stories, but to talk to somebody, a real person that had cancer, that was going to die, that is here today because of cannabis oil. So let me see if he's available, and I believe he is on the line. Darren, are you with us? I can barely hear you. Hello?
No.
No.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you have a bad connection or whatnot. I mean, we can't really hear him.
Put him on the other. Have him call the other number.
Do me a favor. Call in the regular guest line, 617-944-5111. That's the regular guest line that would call in to ask questions. And go through the same code, right? It's the same code, I believe.
I don't think you need a code for that one.
Okay. All right, hey, Steven, we're going to cut to a video, and we're going to figure this out. We'll be right back in 3 minutes, okay? Folks, we'll be right back.
My name is Sister Kate. I'm in my mid-50s. I live in the Central Valley of California, and I'm a weed nun. The Sisters of the Valley is an order of New Age progressive nuns, not affiliated with the Catholic Church. We live together, we work together, we pray together. We wear the uniform to show severe respect to the medicine-making process. Our whole day, every day, is devoted to the business. We make cannabis products, balms, cannabis oil. We are dealing with terminal patients and cancer patients. Once you've experienced the growing with your own hands and the turning of that into medicine, it is very hard to walk back into a different kind of life. It's time for the people to revive their spirituality, and we believe the path to that is through cannabis.
You make a comment after the non-video.
My name is Sister Kate. I'm in my mid-50s. I live in the Central Valley of California.
That was awesome.
That was the one
Yeah.
with the nuns, right? I mean, unreal, right?
Spiritual aspects of healing.
All right. Let me take the caller now. Darren. Hello. Hello, Darren. This isn't working.
My goal for him is to hear his voice, to hear him talk. We just want him to be happy.
This is more than just make it so that he doesn't have seizures anymore. I want him back. I want him to thrive and live and enjoy us. And if a plant can do that, why do we object?
Some of the kids clearly became more verbal, better coordination. I had one child who started walking while they were using the medications.
We instantly saw results. He was smiling again. We noticed the decrease in seizures. He was able to transition. And at this point, he was finally able to gain cognitive skills. My goal for him is to hear.
How you doing? This is Jake Gannon with the Cannabis Radio Network, and this is your Average Joe Grow. We are here today to show you step by step how easy, simple, systematic it is for you to grow your own great weed. And we're going to start off with some little babies that we have right here that are ready for a transplant. This is going to be your first step once you're getting ready on your first grow. So the first thing we're going to want to do is make sure that our water is pH properly. Now ideally you want your water to be between 5.5 and about 7.0 for a pH. So we have a little gauge right here. You can get these at Green Harvest Hydroponics. Go see Anthony. CRN10 is a promo code. You get a 10% discount. He'll hook you right up. Now, what we have here is we lucked out. We have about
that has used cannabis oil to reverses cancer, and I want to let him tell his story. But Darren, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for what you guys are also doing. Yeah, together we're gonna break this old stigma, and we're gonna get this medicine to the people. That's what we're gonna do.
All right. Well, terrific. Thanks for calling in. Now, how old are you, Darren?
I will be 53 next month.
53, and you were diagnosed with cancer when you were how old?
Actually, on my 50th birthday.
On your 50th birthday. So this was just,
yes, sir.
a few years ago, 3 years ago.
3 years ago, yes.
Okay, and what type of cancer were you diagnosed with?
I was diagnosed with what they call stage 4 non-small cell lung adenocarcinoma with pericardial involvement. I'll explain that to you when we get to talking here, but basically lung cancer that went to the heart.
Okay, interesting. And you used traditional medicine before you tried cannabis? I mean, how did you get exposed to it? Just tell me the story.
Okay, wonderful. Well, it was very simple. It was we had been vacationing a few months before my birthday, going to the beach and doing some things. We're in the Midwest, right by St. Louis, Missouri. We're in Illinois, and I had this thing going on with me where my hands and my feet were cracking open, kind of like athlete's feet, and I was bleeding out of my hands and feet, really cracked and dried, and I didn't know what it was. Spent thousands on lotions, and I couldn't figure out what was going on with me. So we went on the vacations. We came home, and on July the 26th of 2015, I woke up from that night's sleep, and I gained 8 pounds in my sleep. Of course, I woke up, that's unusual, I'm crazy. I couldn't breathe, and I was having real short of breath and was really lightheaded, and told my wife how I felt and what had happened. And we went immediately to the emergency room because I was in heart failure. My heart was beating very slowly. My chest was swollen. They did an ultrasound on me, and within a few minutes of being in the triage area there, they sent me straight back to an awake surgery where they stuck a big, huge needle in my heart sac and pushed on my chest and drained out a whole 2-liter bottle. It was 890 milliliters of blood out of my pericardium. Well, the normal heart has 70 milliliters of fluid in it, pericardial fluid. Mine had 890 of blood, so they knew something was wrong with me. So I was out of heart failure for the time being. Got put in a room at the hospital there, and they ran the paperwork on the blood and found out that it was a metastatic cancer. So 3 or 4 days later, it was my 50th birthday, July 31st, 2015. It started again. I had gained the weight back in the hospital. Heart was beating very slowly. They knew that I had a lung tumor that metastasized to my heart sac and grew fingers of blood vessels on the inside of it, and I was hemorrhaging to death inside of my heart sac. So that's how I found out I had cancer.
Oh my goodness. And
okay, there's a lot more to do.
Were you recommended right away for chemotherapy and radiation?
No, it wasn't that simple. Once they got me out of when you're bleeding to death inside of
right, I know that's a whole different story.
It's called effusion. Yeah, it's called effusion. That means you're gathering blood. Well, it was causing me pericardial tamponade. It was shutting my heart down from the pressure of all that blood in my heart sac. So here's what they did. They took me into a surgery. They cut a little hole in my heart sac after they opened my chest up and put what they call a pericardial window in my heart sac, a small hole, and drained all the blood into my body cavity. And at that point, they realized there was nothing they could do to me because this rare cancer I had, meaning I was bleeding to death, they could not stop it. So they looked in old pharmaceutical books and found out a way to stop the bleeding. They put talcum powder inside of my heart sac and massaged it all in and filled it.
Talcum
and then
powder.
That started to coagulate. Talcum powder, yes, and that started to coagulate the blood. But at that moment, non-small cell stage 4 lung cancer has a 6-month survival rate. After they put the powder in my heart, they guaranteed me that the only person that had survived that was 2.7 months in history. I had it done 3 years ago, and I'm still alive. So this is why my cancer story is so unique. No one's ever lived no longer than 3 months with powder in their heart, and I'm going on 3 years with powder in my heart. But
okay.
As soon as they did
with
that,
you, it wasn't a cancer about chemotherapy or radiation. You had some cancer which was causing you to bleed internally.
Yes,
right?
Yes, inside the pericardium. Yes, inside the heart sac, and it was not going to stop because there's no way to shut that blood vessels down. There's thousands of them that grew inside of the heart sac and was causing me to hemorrhage to death inside the pericardium, causing me to go into heart failure because of the pressure of so much blood.
The
so they did that rare surgery.
The heart can't beat.
Go ahead.
What were we saying?
So in other words, the pressure, like you imagine like the balloon, it couldn't fill anymore, and so it's the heart's trying to beat, and it's just not letting it beat, so it squeezes it, and then the heart's like stuck.
Absolutely.
So
that's called being in tamponade. Yes.
Yes.
Once they got you out of, basically, were you in like the emergency? I mean, this is like once they got you, they said stable. They said how long you had to live. On air?
Yeah. Well, when we found I had cancer, there was a 6-month diagnosis, a terminal stage 4 lung patient. But once they did this surgery, the longest anyone's ever survived that tamponade powder surgery, because they put the powder in, and what it does is coagulates and kind of singes the heart sac to the heart, which means your heart, it's like putting your hand inside a balloon and letting the air out of it. Now the heart sac is just shrunk around the heart. So that's very unique, and you usually cannot live past a few months past that.
Now, how did you
so here's
hear,
what they offer me.
How did you hear about cannabis? And how cannabis oil and how that might benefit your condition? I mean, bridge that gap for me.
Okay. Well, the powder was put in right away, and they told me that all they could do for me was I was going to go on home on palliative care, that my kidneys and stuff would start shutting down because I was that sick. But they said if I do chemotherapy, they could guarantee me maybe a few extra months past that 3 months. So they were giving me 4 to 5 months tops. Well, my little brother came to my hospital room. We are both, he's a stage 2, and I'm a stage 3 multiple sclerosis patient. And I was on a cane and had eye problems and, hundreds of symptoms. I'm on disability for MS. So I was already using cannabis. I was smoking it for my therapy, making me feel much better because I had MS, and it works really well. But at this point, my brother tells me about a gentleman in Colorado named Mark Pedersen, who is a caregiver. And he explains to me about the Rick Simpson oil and the protocol that you use to high THC oil. And of course, my wife's a drug and alcohol counselor at the time, so we call bull on this. We say no. So he shows me the proof that there's actual government papers that they showed they did studies on rats in the 70s to try to cause cancer and killed tumors with this medicine. So what we did was we called this gentleman. He said, I'm a caregiver in Colorado, but I can't help you right now. I'm busy. I'm writing laws, and I'm in Missouri. So he sent me to California. So here's what we did. We jumped in a car, and we left here, and we drove 2,500 miles to California. And I got residency in one day. It was 3 years ago before anything was, it was pretty much, things were different 3 years ago. Even though it was legal, it wasn't very popular. The RS oil wasn't. It was mostly smokables, edibles, dabs, shatters, those things. So we show up and we search California all through the dispensaries because I'm a patient now. I'm legal. And we could not find this medicine. We looked and looked and looked, and every place we went, I asked the guy, is this a very high THC oil? It has to be over 55% in its total cannabinoid profile on THC to cause apoptosis, the tumor cell death. Nobody could tell me nothing. But we finally found it, and when we did, I got this medicine and started eating it, and within days, my hands and feet dried up.
Now you say eating it. What does it come in, like vials? I mean, I think we had a couple pictures on the screen.
Yeah, it's a grease.
It's like,
what you do is you take the plant and you wash it with alcohol. This is how we make it. It's the Rick Simpson protocol. He didn't use alcohol, but here's and it's safer to use a food grade like Everclear. Where I live, you can basically buy moonshine. You wash the plant with moonshine, basically. All you have left is a green liquid because you're going to dispose of the leaves after you're done. You cook that in a rice cooker at a low temperature to keep it from decarboxylating, and you can reduce that down to its primitive form, which is a dark gold, almost black, pure grease that runs in the 80 and 90% THC range because, of course, when you eat this, it's going to convert all the cannabinoids, in your body chemically to THC, and it's going to go to tumors, and it's going to do what it says it does. It causes apoptosis, which is tumor cell suicide without hurting your body.
I've seen videos out there where the cannabinoids are introduced and the cancer cells virtually get eaten up. I don't think we have that particular video available tonight, but
yeah, it starves them to death. Is what it does.
Prevents also proliferation of other growth of other vessels.
Right.
Does that as well. Prevents metastasis.
Yeah. Well, what we're finding is
at first I thought that people were just using this medicinally when people have cancer or they're going through radiation and they're looking for something to reduce the symptoms, or they're looking to increase their appetite because they're having terrible symptoms and they can't eat food. Like my parents, when they were sick, they were drinking all the drinks and whatnot. And if cannabis was around then, I know it would have increased their appetite, which would have increased their ability to get treatment, which would have increased their ability to survive. But this
my doctor.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my doctor offered me the chemotherapy, and that's all they could offer me because what we have found out, me and my wife have a book we've written, and it ain't published because we're still building on it. We have over 300 patients that we've helped in the last years. Dogs, people, different types of animals, mostly people, but mostly terminal. And we're seeing over a 70% success rate of either longer life, remission, or cure from doing a certain protocol, and that would be to ingest this 60 grams of oil in a 90-day period. If it's not clear yet, you do another treatment.
Right, now this
But
is
the problem
like
is people don't have access.
This is, like you said, Rick Simpson protocol, right? And there's some dispensaries that offer it. I mean, I know it's available for people to make it at home. And let me say something about that. I think there's something powerful to making your own medicine. There's got to be something to that.
Oh,
I mean, it got to be like somewhere, like in the Bible or something, about man makes his own.
Well,
I'm not. But it's unbelievable.
Yeah, in the Bible they spoke of this healing oils. They spoke of frankincense, myrrh, so many shekels of each, canhabosum, and they would make an anointing oil. And they told him to anoint his disciples, and then for them to go out and anoint and heal other people. So, without being theological or trying to get religious here, it is mentioned many times in the Bible as a healing oil. And like I heard you say earlier, this has been around for thousands of years, and our cows would eat feral hemp, and it would be in their milks, and people just did not get cancer until they basically made it illegal.
If you look at when the cancer rates in the United States, and maybe we'll do a graph next week on this, cancer rates in the United States with the prohibition of cannabis.
Right.
That would be a very interesting graph to look at, because.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know what the numbers would look like just sitting here, but to see that graph would be, I think, powerful, because when they took cannabis away, did disease really go up that much?
Well, if you think about what
1 out of 2 people today get cancer. It wasn't like that 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Was it like that?
We can't incorporate hemp into our daily diets. Back in the old days, our ancestors didn't think of it the way it is now with the stigma. It was just something they used. It was clothing, it was medicine, it was food, it was a superfood. That's what this basically is.
But
Cannabis
our bodies
of all
are
forms
designed
is
for
a superfood.
Like our bodies have what they call, as you know, receptors. Our bodies have cannabinoid receptors. This is what I learned from the Green Nurse Group. Is our body have these cannabinoid receptors.
All mammals.
Our bodies were designed for this.
Because our bodies make stuff that's very similar. So right, we call it the endogenous cannabinoids that our body makes that fits into these receptors. Well, the cannabis plant, phytocannabinoids, right? So you have the THC, the CBD, right? And how they work, CB1, CB2 receptors, we make our own.
Yeah. Now, when a woman's pregnant and she's never touched cannabis in her life, this is a proven fact. There's something in the breast milk called anandamides, and that is what she calls an endocannabinoid. It means it's internal. Now, all mammals that have a spine are able to accept this medicine unless you are allergic to it, which is very rare. But what it is, it's one of the only medicines in the world that's naturally comes from a plant that is the blood-brain barrier. The CB1 and CB2 receptors in the brain, like she said, is a key. And our body makes the exact same components that unlock those keys for all the receptors, which is part of your immune system, part of your endocrine system, the most important system in your body. Our ancestors used it every day, and it was in their foods, their milks, it was in everything. And then once they cut that out of the food chain, of course, evolution takes over. 30, 40 years later, everybody's dying of cancer, and that could be a lot from man-made problems. We know. I don't know if they got population control going on, but there's about 6 or 7 billion people in the world, and they said if we keep producing, there's not going to be enough to sustain life. So I don't know what the corporate problem is here, but I do know it's greed that has kept us from people, because I know the whole story about how we got to where we are, and it was simply greed, including the Nixon studies in the 70s.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, this the kill cancer.
Did you use cannabis before this? Before you were diagnosed?
Yes, smoking it for MS.
You did
just
smoking
it, maybe dabs for MS, yes, and it was really controlling my MS fairly well, but I was on disability, and like I said, my wife's an alcohol counselor and drug counselor. She quit her job because my doctor told me, since I'm on Medicare, I'm drawing my disability that I paid in 26 years. If we didn't pay cash for my treatment, which was $10,000 a treatment, that they would not even treat me. So my wife quit her job so we could get kicked into the Medicaid system and get a secondary pickup on my Medicare insurance. Wow. So they wasn't even going to treat me. And I guess that's the one time the Obamacare situation helped somebody. It helped me. It helped me pay for my chemotherapy, or they was not going to treat me. So it's weird to see an alcohol counselor and drug counselor quit her job to drive me across country to buy marijuana. It's insane. But we did do it. And I can tell by talking to you guys that you're fairly educated here, but the group of people mostly in the world has been stigmatized to the point that they don't understand that there has never been one death from this medicine in history, ever. There's never one. And somebody today, it's safer than cheeseburgers.
Yes,
it really is. Think about it.
Yeah. I mean, safer than most of the things we put in our bodies. You know, look at what's a whole food? Nothing that's in a box.
I mean,
right?
it's
a whole
unbelievable.
food doesn't have a label, right? Nutrition. People, you know.
I know we don't have an expert on the show tonight about this, but the pharmaceutical industry, the FDA, I mean, if what I'm hearing is half true about the benefits of cannabis and this cannabinoid system that the human body has, that's been deprived for the past so many years because of this, stigma, it's being stigmatized, and right? So our body's being deprived. We introduce it back, and maybe people don't get as sick. Maybe disease starts going back to where it was. Back at the turn of the century. Maybe things start changing. Who knows, right? When you add something that your body's designed to take. There's bigger complications to this. The complications of cannabis nowadays is we know it has medicinal reasons. Even though the patent known 663057 is for a neurological thing, we know that this is medicine. The government knows it's medicine, but it is a non-medicinal drug, higher in classification than cocaine. It's ridiculous. But here's the problem. If you can grow hemp, of course, it changes the world, because you can make plastic and fuel out of these seeds from a hemp plant, which will make a biodegradable plastic that will disappear in 6 months. Right. Regular plastic don't do that. Yeah, you see that thing on the Pacific Ocean? They have that island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean full of plastic, because and plastic's only been around for how many years? It's like people think plastic's been around forever. It's only been around for.
It's the most important commodity in the world. Everything. If you look around your room right now, how many pieces of plastic are in your room right now? It is insane.
Right, but when was plastic invented?
DuPont invented it in the 1930s, right about the same time they made marijuana.
So it hasn't even been around. So think about this. Plastic hasn't even been around 100 years. Okay? And based on the pollution and everything, there's an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean that's like, it's an island. It's like as big as Texas. It's like 10 feet deep. I mean, boats have to go around it.
That's horrifying.
Because there's so much plastic. Animals are getting sick. It's going into our ecosystem. I mean, it's sickening when you think about it. But I'm just getting back to what you were talking about. I did have to bring up plastics. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the very first automobile made by Henry Ford, believe it or not, was made out of hemp plastic, which is stronger than steel, and ran on hemp oil. And the government, of course, said you can't do that.
Henry Ford,
so they did not produce it that way.
Ford's first vehicles were made out of hemp plastic?
Yeah, I've got that.
Hemp plastic, yes, it was. And it's harder than carbon fiber, and it does not deteriorate. You can make concrete, you can make medicine, you can make clothing, you can make fuel, you can make plastic. You can make insulation for houses. You can make so many things out of this. It's insane. It would change the world overnight if they made it completely legal, because there would be so much competing business.
So
a tree is 20%
in your opinion, and you've done a lot of research, I know you've done a lot of research on this, in your opinion, what's been the problem? Why have they held this back from us?
It's well, you're looking at the complications of big oil, big pharmacy. Those are trillions of dollars just right there. Now, the first time it was illegal, the Rockefellers bought up a bunch of forests, and newspapers were back in the day. Nobody had phones and TVs. They read newspapers. So a tree is 20% cellulose, and it takes 20 years to grow. Hemp is 80% cellulose, and it takes 18 weeks to grow. You can see the difference right there. You would never have to cut a tree down again if we used hemp for everything. Now, how would that change the world as far as our ozone layers and all these, even the fossil fuel problems? If we didn't have to cut any trees down at all.
Don't they know this? Doesn't anybody have a brain that says...
Greed.
They know it and they ignore it.
But they make money off of... I guess that's what's happening now.
Well,
but they're talking about for medicinal. But you're talking about the whole industrial benefits as well.
Exactly.
It's bigger than anything that's ever happened in the world. It would be bigger than our industrial revolution because of the products this one plant makes. You guys were talking earlier about the animals. Me and my wife, since we've done our journey, and since I'm the only living person in the world walking around with powder in my heart, it's just amazing, this miracle I've been giving. And I'm told I will live as long as my heart can take this. I can hear my heart beating in my body, in my ear, every beat, because it's encased in a brick now. and they can't understand why I'm alive. But we have people call us, and in my messenger, I have over 10,000 messages every couple weeks that I have to filter through and try to help some people, because it is just insane how not popular or famous, but how infamous our story has gotten. It's all over the world. I had a guy from Ireland knock on my door 6 months ago. He flew to my house and asked me to help him save his life, and I put him in my guest bedroom, and I went out to California and hooked him up with, legal things, got him his medicine, and he flew home with it, and he's cancer-free today. It is. We have so many of these stories.
That was a few years ago, but today, Darren, if your best friend called you and said, I have cancer, I know your story, what should I do?
I'm going to tell them exactly how to do this. Now, the doctors, can you guarantee this is going to work? We've never studied this. How are we going to know it's going to work?
Nobody can guarantee anything, but,
You do what your doctors tell you, because they're trying. That's what I tell people. Do what your doctors say, first of all, and then supplement with this medicine. Now, you were talking about radiation. I need to explain some things to everybody that's listening. Chemotherapy kills all the small cells in your body, so it does exactly what cannabis does. So if you're a very strong young person, chemotherapy is not good, but if it kills the cells and you supplement with the cannabis oil, you can stop the chemo at any time you want if it's killing you. But radiation is the problem. When you take radiation, they give you steroids heavily, which causes from inflammation, and it blocks the CB1 and CB2 receptors from accepting this medicine in your endocannabinoid system. So we're seeing a problem. If you're doing radiation, the cannabis oil doesn't work so well.
Oh, because it's not getting absorbed.
If you do it with chemotherapy, you're going to see apoptosis and necrosis. Those are two different terms used for tumor cell death. That is clinical terms, and they are fact because they are written up into the government's web pages about why they studied this and how the mechanism of THC actually, like she said, works through these receptors and causes regeneration of cells and death of abnormal cells.
Yeah. So if these receptors that we have that we were just talking about, these cannabinoid receptors that are in our body naturally, if they're being blocked, like you're saying, by the radiation, people can't.
By the steroid use.
By the steroid use.
Yes, because it stops inflammation. It actually attacks your immune system and keeps it from working. That's what inflammation. That's what the steroids do. It's for a reason, but in combination with cannabis oil treatments, we're saying it's just not the best route to go.
So if your best friend called you, you'd say go with your doctor's recommendations, do at least the chemotherapy, right? But
do the chemotherapy and take the cannabis oil with it.
But
yes, because if you're going to rely on cannabis oil, would you rely on cannabis oil only to save your life if you know you're dying? You have to do you got a toolbox, and the more tools you have in that toolbox, the better job you can do at any job. So put all the tools in there. But don't put tools in that don't work, because radiation, we found, I would never do radiation, and I would bet my life on the cannabis oil and chemotherapy. Now, if I got too sick to where chemo was killing me, I would just do the cannabis oil, and I would, would try for the best. But until it's studied and let go off the Class 1 scheduled drug, we're not going to be able to get to the bottom of why some people get better and some people don't. We don't know why.
Yes.
But we're seeing more good results than bad results.
Right.
We're seeing very good resuls,
Right.
It's a miracle of God, and it should. Everybody should have access. That's what really gets to us. We see so much death, and so many, and it's just the access or the cost.
Yeah.
Now, when it's an oil and it comes in like a little syringe and you eat it, and when does somebody do it? They just do it in the morning? Do they do it during the day?
Well, how did you do
tolerance.
It? Yeah, how did you do it?
I did it. We made a chart that shows how to take this medicine. What it is when you start taking this medicine, you have 60 grams you have to ingest in 90 days. The reason why you don't have 60 and 60 is because you can't take a gram a day. You're working up to that. You take grains of rice, which is very small amounts, and you will feel it. You take a grain of rice 3 times a day for a week. The second week, you take 2 grains of rice 3 times a day for a week. The third week, you start doubling it. So it goes from 1 to 2 to 4 to 6. By the 4th week, you're taking 6 grains of rice in a little pill. We put them in pills. You're 3 times a day, and that will be a gram a day. So after 1 month of taking it, you've built a tolerance to where you can handle the feeling and eat a whole gram a day in 3 different portions. And if you do that for the next 60 days left, you have a good chance of eating the 60 and 90 days, which is the protocol. Now, if your cancer is not gone, you continue on the same protocol, a gram a day, until you see your best results. What we've seen was I did a 60-gram treatment, and I wasn't dying no more. In fact, I was healthier than I've ever been. My MS was in remission completely. My cancer was gone. I gained 12 pounds and didn't lose no hair doing the treatment. Now, they said I would be dead for a fact because I'm the only living person we can find with powder in my heart. So we knew that I was getting better. So I ate a second treatment, and it took 5 months, but then they scanned me, and that's when they told me on January the 16th, 6 months later, that they could never tell I ever had lung cancer, except for I have powder in my heart, and everybody's going to wonder why it's there now, because the cancer is undetectable.
Right.
And I have the paper to show it's not in remission. It is not there.
It's not just you. I read a book, Rick Simpson's book, and this gentleman is a Canadian, and he claims that his oil, the one you're talking about, as he's helped 5,000 people reverse their cancer. And I mean, he's been basically driven out of the country. I guess he's been raided and everything. The FDA and FTC or whatever raided him, and a whole bunch of things. But
well, practicing medicine without a license. I know Rick Simpson personally. I speak to him on Skype. There's multiple videos of us on my Facebook page. And after I got better, he wanted to speak with us because they're writing a book about my story out in L.A., a lady named Miss Brown, I don't know her first name. She's a writer, and she's writing a story about him and how he figured this out for his melanoma. He started going to old folks' homes and giving it to old people, and then they weren't dying no more. And, of course, that's a profit business. You go into old folks' homes so you can stay there your last few days, then they bring more people in, and that's just a revolving door. If the people ain't dying, they ain't making no money. So that's what started his trouble.
Right.
He started helping old people, and they were all living. And they said, why are all these old people in here dying? Then they found out they were eating medicine. And they ran him out of there. He went to Nova Scotia. And recently, I believe, last time I talked to him, he was touring over, I believe, in India and showing them how to take even the crudest marijuana with the seeds in it, the nastiest reg you can find. It will still make this medicine.
But
it just makes a little less of it.
You know other people personally, like yourself? I mean, I read his book. I haven't talked to him personally. I'm trying to get him on the show. But, I mean, you've talked to other people that have reversed their cancer?
I have helped. Well,
I mean, they're not dead today.
We have helped over 300 people.
300 people.
Our book has over 300 people that we know for a fact that we have helped in 3 years. And on top of that, I have
300 people that you know for a fact?
I have their personal stories, and I got their condolences. They use their story and all their names and everything. It's all record here. Now, the problem is I have a bunch of famous people call me. I have DEA agents, senators, judges, congressmen, entertainers. I had a country western star call me 6 months ago because his dog was dying. So we met him at his concert, got on his tour bus. We went on tour a week with him, got him his medicine. That dog ate the protocol in less than 3 weeks, and it cured his cancer. But they gave him an after chemo to keep him from getting cancer again, and that dog died of pneumonia. Oh. I can't mention who it is. It would be unfair to him because I have confidence, that from some pretty famous people. So I just helped them get the medicine and show them how to dose it, and we're seeing a 70% success rate. I wrote a letter to the president last week about this, and it seems like 4 or 5 days after he received the letter, we're hearing he might be changing the law. I would hope it would be because he read some of the things I sent him.
Well, by the next election, and the Democrats already put him in the corner, it's inevitable that it's going to be legal federally, and it's going to be interesting how that changes things, the dynamics in the industry. But I mean, I'd bet my, and I have. I'd bet my bottom dollar on it going federally legal here in Massachusetts.
What are they going to do when the class action lawsuit gets to the government in a few years because they let the secret out that they know this cannabis can maybe kill cancer? And then there's going to get 1 million people
what are we
to
going to
sue the government for
company?
not letting them use it.
Get high and forget about it.
Yeah, that's what's the problem. The stigma about getting high, I can't believe. I got a Reefer Madness poster right here in my music room I'm looking at right now. The sweet pill that makes life bitter, it makes women cry and men die for it. It's just the Reefer Madness. It's just crazy.
Right.
It's crazy.
Marijuana has been lied to about us for over 70 years. It's just insane what it can do for the human body.
It's
I got one more thing for you. You guys research breast.
Go ahead. Breast cancer.
You researched breast milk lately?
Breast milk.
I'm sorry. I'm talking over you. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. We love listening to you speak. It's wonderful.
Yeah, we have found out that a woman, when they are lactating, they give breast milk to a baby, which makes them very tired and hungry. Well, why do you think that is? That's called natural anandamides, and it's the exact same profile as THC that's in her breast milk. This is a fact, and if you look it up, it is insane. But that's why babies get hungry and tired when they breastfeed, because they are getting THC in their system from their mother's breast milk.
But it's easier to go to the dispensary than have another child.
That's also a little bit. You're kind of frowned on in public when you're doing that if you're an adult.
All right. Hey, Darren,
I
want to thank you for calling, and we only have a few minutes left here. Are there any last thoughts you'd like to share with the people at home?
Yes, I would like to tell people that if they get sick, sometimes like we did. We wasn't legal. Now in Illinois we are, but it's life versus law. They say, well, how do I do this? And I had a video, of course, like everybody else on the internet, how to make this in your kitchen with your rice cooker. I tell them, if you don't have access, just go to your local pub, your tavern, and walk in and ask the bartender if anybody here has a small bag of cannabis. And take it home, wash it with alcohol, file a video. 20 minutes later, you're eating cannabis oil. And it's that simple. To save your own life is just to do it, you know. And if you can't get access, I'm easy to find on the internet. Just Google my name. I will help anyone because I know every loophole in every area to get this medicine to anybody who wants it. You know, I know a DEA agent in my area, listen to this, who was cancer-free recently from a stage 4 cancer. He never told his people he works with. He's a DEA agent. But now he, undercover, helps hundreds of people because he has access. Now, if I was to bring his name out, he'd go to prison for this. But
right.
You know, I ain't gonna give up my sources. I know this gentleman is also like me and hundreds of others. We're saving lives, and I see it.
You're
and
a healer.
It's wonderful to see a family with so much hope. The medicine brings as much hope as it does healing, and of course that's good for you too. You know how the prayer, hope, all these things are good. You know, positive. And I've seen miracles. I've seen the CBD take seizures away from dogs and children in less than in a minute. It's just insane to watch this stuff work.
We were showing some of the videos earlier in the show of people that have with seizures, with dogs that have people with epilepsy. I mean, it's really
Tourette's, everything.
It's
Tourette's
unbelievable.
syndrome, yes.
But a lot of people haven't seen those videos, and that's why I like to play them on my show, because a lot of people don't get the same information. I open my feed and I get a lot of information on cannabis because I'm always researching cannabis.
Yeah.
But I like to share those videos because people need to see that, especially with animals. Like with animals, there's no placebo effect. Not that there's a placebo effect. I know it works in many cases, and there's studies now that are coming out to prove that it works. So we've seen people actually talk about helping dolphins with this medicine get better because the
they
Miami
are
dolphins. Forget about it.
No, a real dolphin, a fish.
Oh,
well, it's not a fish; it's a mammal, by the way. It has a spine.
All right.
But that's how this medicine is so incredible that it can make everything we'd ever want to make out of it. It can heal people, and believe it or not, it's a superfood. If you look it up, it's in paintings and in hieroglyphs from thousands of years ago. This was just a normal plant that was incorporated in everybody's lives until our federal government basically found out about some few things and they shut it down. Well,
Darren,
that's over with.
I'm going to put all your information. I'm going to put all your information on our website and on our Facebook and on our social media, so people can get in contact with you. And I'd love to have you back on the show as well.
And on the Green Nurse Show, you're coming up in July, so we'd love to have you on our show as well.
I was coming up to live?
Yeah, he's coming up, yeah.
Oh, that would be great.
To Massachusetts in July, so
yes,
we're
going to Myrtle Beach in July. We're going to tour the East Coast. We're going to try to make it up to the Boston area. Is that where you guys are from?
Boston.
Yeah. We have a couple of cookouts and launch events in July too. So we'll send you all the information, but we'll post your information on all our social media. I have a couple other callers I need to get to before the end of the show. And we only have a couple of minutes left, so I want to thank you for calling in, Darren.
Thank you so much, Darren.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Thank you.
Soon.
We could talk cannabis for days, but I think we covered it.
Thank you so much for sharing your message. It's really important.
Hi, Dwayne.
Yes, sir.
I thank you for holding.
Not a problem at all.
All right, and thank you for calling in. Can you tell, you've had a personal experience with cannabis medically?
No, sir. I live in the state of Kentucky where it is illegal. I've got nerve damage pretty much from my neck all the way down to my ankles. I'm prescribed a lot of different opiates and medications for relief. But I do feel that it is hurting my internal organs. And not only that, cancer, it's on my mother's side. She just went through breast cancer surgery about a year ago, in which They're saying that they got it all, and she was always against, cannabis. But now she says if it would become legal that she would try it.
It's interesting, and that's what it is with a lot of people. It's just about being legal or not legal.
I know.
It's just, but my mother would have been the same exact way. So I can understand, but now that it's legal, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
You're fine. No, she's about to turn 79, and she's having some major issues. She's went down from 140 pounds to 95 pounds, and I'm going to see her doctor, with her to the doctor this week, and either they're going to put her in a hospital or I'm going to have to choose to put her in a rest home.
Got it.
And
well, hopefully,
Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell.
Our senator. Yes, he says that he totally opposes it, and that as long as he's in office, that it will not be legalized in this state. And I don't. He's
as crooked as a boomerang. We have another caller. We only have a couple of minutes left, but I want to thank you for calling in.
Yes, thank you for calling.
Ain't a problem.
All right, we have Larry calling in from the Boston area. Larry, thanks for calling.
Hey, thank you, Don. Good to be on with you. That guy had some great story, boy. It was really, and good energy as well.
The guy with the Rick Simpson oil. Yeah, what unbelievable. Did you see some of the videos earlier in the show?
Saw the videos too. I think it's a great addition to the show. I'm a regular watcher at this point. I got two questions for the Green Nurse Group.
Yes.
Can you give some information about, can you help me get my medical card is number one, and number two is, what kind of guests do you foresee having on your show?
Good questions. So if you needed your medical card, what I would have you do is to call us up at the Green Nurse Group, and we can give you some information. And our nurse practitioner, Dale, does certifications, and we assist in that process. So we help people get together all the information that they need. They make an appointment with Dale. Dale will go over the intake. She'll go over all of medicines that the patient's on.
It's simple, fast, and easy.
It's simple, fast, and easy. But the part that we do different is that we have nurses that take the process from certification to the next step, where they're not left high and dry, right? So we help them complete the process for them to get their cards, and we take the information and we do a care plan. We look at everything. The bottom line is, the question I ask is, what is important to you? How do you want to feel? Our goal is to increase quality of life. And that's what we do with the Green Nurse Group. So from certification, from seed to sale, I like to say, right? We guide people.
Right.
From the beginning all the way, we hold your hand until you're ready to let go.
Yeah. And that's wonderful. If people are sick, and we did your whole, and I know people love when I have you on the show, and that's why the the Cannabis Radio Network decided to give you your own show, because you're so popular, the Green Nurse Program, and you're going to be so popular in Massachusetts because you're going to help so many people. And I know it's a nonprofit organization. You donate your life, you donate your time.
Because it works.
You and Dale.
Yeah, we've experienced it. We live it. I'm also a patient, but that's how I know it works. I developed this program based on experience and thinking to myself.
I look forward to your show.
Okay. Hey, thanks for calling in, Larry.
Thank you.
All right. All right, folks, we're wrapping up now. This is Donald Barrett on the Cannabis Radio Network. This show is the Barrett Report every Sunday night at 9 o'clock. In July, we're going to be starting at 8 o'clock, 8 to 9 p.m. on Sunday nights. We're also going to have the Green Nurse Show in July. And the Average Joe Grow Show. Jake Gannum, a new host we have here at the Cannabis Radio Network. It's very good, very teacher-like, if you will. He makes things very simple, easy, and systematic.
Exactly.
And if you want to grow from home, and you want to follow easy step-by-step instructions that make it easy. That's why the name of his show is The Average Joe Grow. Stay tuned for Jake Gannam's show, The Average Joe Grow. So good information there. We also have our event coming up in July 15th.
Yes, we do. July 14th,
July 14th, Saturday night from 6
p.m. until 11 p.m.
Yep, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. July 14th, Saturday night. I'll make sure Saturday night, not Sunday night. I'll show up because I always say Sunday for some reason.
It's a show.
But Saturday night, we have a launch event. It's at the Peabody Marriott. If you can get out there, you should come on out, okay? It's going to be an educational event where you get knowledge and you have a good time and you can network and meet industry insiders in the Massachusetts area. It's going to be at the Peabody Marriott here in Peabody, Massachusetts. It's at the Marriott on Centennial Drive. So just go to our Facebook page and get more information on that. Again, we only have a minute left, but again, thanks for watching. If you are not convinced after watching those videos, after listening to Darren Miller and his story, that cannabis is medicinal, then I don't know what else to tell you. You know, go watch another show. I don't know.
Follow us.
It's unbelievable.
Follow the
the research keeps coming out, folks. It's getting better and better and better.
And we're going to bring all of that to you.
And it's exciting here, the information we're going to bring at the Cannabis Radio Network. So we're all set here. We do have next week, we're going to be talking to it's actually a dating site. It's, you know, so many people are into dating.
Right.
They have dating sites for all different types of people.
Absolutely.
Now, and I guess there's a 420 dating.
Yeah.
mybong or yours.com.
Very interesting.
Yeah, we're going to be talking to Giuseppe. He's one of the guys over there.
Oh, good.
And we're going to be talking to them next week. And we have a lot of fun things, and they're going to be at the launch event as well. So we're going to have a lot of fun things coming here and coming right to you at home from the Cannabis Radio Network. My name is Donald Barrett, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for being with us.